Gracias. Hola a todos. Thank you all for being here. Really, really glad to be here. I got a great introduction, but I'll do it again by myself. My name is Mateo Salvato. I'm 25 years old. From afar, I look like a 15-year-old, but I swear I'm 25, or at least that's what I've been told. I come from Argentina, but don't worry, I won't talk about football, so don't leave, please. I'll talk about technology. And yeah, sure, you don't say, man, we're at South Summit, of course, everyone. We are all talking about technology, right? Sure, but I'll try to discuss technology from a quite different angle, right? So let's go ahead. Let's start way before, actually. When I was a little kid, well, I still am technically, but when I was actually a little kid, like a 4 or 5-year-old, I always dreamt with changing the world with technology, right? I'm a huge tech fan, and as I bet many of you, I always had this dream of changing the world for good with tech, right? But who changes the world? What's changing the world with technology, right? Yeah, I don't know. Elon Musk launching rockets, right? I don't know. Google, huge AI projects, OpenAI, right? Far away from the end of the world back in Buenos Aires, right? And of course, 15, 16-year-old. That was my theory. But maybe, just maybe, I wasn't quite right. Let me go ahead and tell you a quick story. I want to introduce you to Mercedes, right? Back in Argentina. She is a teacher for deaf kids, some of them right there, right? Has been for the past 40 years, right? As I said, her name is Mercedes, but I call her mommy. She's my mom, has been for the past 25 years, right? So I grew up with my brother surrounded by deaf kids, our age, that suffered to perform daily things that for me, and statistically speaking for almost all of you, or all of you, are just simple daily stuff, right? And then I thought, hey, why not try to do something? Maybe not in Silicon Valley, not with huge investors or launching rockets, but try to do something that will help those guys have at least a little better life quality, right? Thus, I got into my computer. I had no idea how to do it, but I went on YouTube and wrote how to develop an Android app. Enter, right? That was it. 17-year-old Mateo back in Buenos Aires, at my parents' house, started looking at YouTube tutorials, and I coded my first mobile app. And as I'm not really creative with names, I called it Háblalo, right? Which is to speak up for you English speakers, right, in Spanish. So Háblalo was just a simple homemade app. No money, no nothing. Was really, really basic and homemade, but had a good idea. Try to be a multi-tool for people with communication difficulties to communicate with their surroundings, right? Well, let's jump almost 8 years from that moment, and that little homemade, really truly basic, simple app is today helping around 400,000 communication disabled people in 75 countries, 48 languages, with any kind of communication disability, cerebral palsy, ALS, deafness, autism, aphasia, and many more, entirely for free. Oh, literally, truly free. Like no ads, no freemium, nothing. It's actually truly free, right? But of course, I didn't do this on my own, right? We entrepreneurs love to come on stage and talk about what we do, but of course, I didn't do this by myself. It would have failed if I would do it on my own. But I co-founded my first startup that is called Asteroid, right? Asteroid has nothing to do with space, but I just love space, so yeah, that's it. Yeah, we already like the name, so we'll just leave it like that. But Asteroid, we are 30 people at Asteroid redefining and redesigning the global standards of universal accessibility, right? But how do we do it? Because yeah, we have an app that people use, it's free, cool. But how are we redefining that? Well, we develop software for disabled people that we give away for free, as I was saying. No ads, no freemium, no nothing, free. But then we develop high-impact business models that transform companies into truly accessibility drivers, right? So we are already doing that with our biggest example, Háblalo for Business, with plus 40 multinational companies in Latin America that are transforming their operations into truly accessible spaces using our software. So we develop these highly impactful business models that allow the society itself to change. Not expect the person with a disability with their phones on their pockets to transform themselves to adapt to society, but adapt society to everyone in it, right? That's what we're doing. And we are also redefining social impact business models. We are a for-profit company. We are not an NGO. Of course, one of our goals is to make a lot of money, as one wants, and that's perfect. But that's our second biggest goal. The first is to help as many disabled people as possible entirely for free. And then work side by side with all of these companies and many more coming to transform how society itself adapts to welcome all these people into everything through the entirety of their life, right? That's what we're working on. We're working, as I said, in Latin America, but I can't say much, but coming to Europe very, very, very soon, right? Working also on that. But wait, I don't want to make this talk about myself, but at least I will tell you something. That is, I learned quite a lot throughout this journey, these past years, right? Really learned quite a lot of things that I would love to share, but honoring the time, I would like to focus on one particular thing that I learned in the past years. That is about changing the world. Remember that for me, changing the world is launching rockets, building huge AI models, co-founding Google and stuff, what everyone dreams about. Well, now my perspective is quite changed, right? And if you ask me, hey, Mateo, what is changing the world? I would absolutely show you an image more like this, right? Maybe it's not Silicon Valley stuff, maybe it's not millions of dollars, maybe it's not huge LLMs and AI and stuff, but maybe, just maybe, it's a kid with cerebral palsy back in Argentina who bought his first ham and cheese sandwich at a store without any help, right? Maybe changing the world is in a ham and cheese sandwich in Latin America. Of course, it is also in an Elon Musk rocket, but maybe it's also there. Maybe it's also in Andrea, back on the top left corner. Andrea is 25 years old. She also has cerebral palsy. She lives in Tucumán, up north in Argentina. And she not only finished her university degree using Háblalo the last 3 years, but she also became the first person with a cerebral palsy in Argentina to be a teacher at a university using the software, showing everyone that her disability is not a stopper, not for learning, not for teaching, right? Or maybe, just maybe, changing the world, and I want to make a huge point right here and stop right here, is Prudencio, right there with the candles. Prudencio was not only our first user with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. If you don't know what that is, you may remember Stephen Hawking, right, as a huge icon that had this disability. He was the first user with ALS back in 2017. The company didn't exist at the moment. It was only me. But also, and this is why I want to stop and make the point right here, is that he was our first user in Spain, right? And Prudencio started using Háblalo in 2017 when the company didn't exist, and he started texting me, hey, chaval, I use your app. I love it, but I would change all of these things. And I was like, okay, wait, I'm alone. Okay, give me some feedback, and I will start changing that. So he became the advisory board of Háblalo. It was me, my mom, and Prudencio, right? Yeah, so we developed like a friendship, surely. He was of huge, huge help. And many of the features that today are in Háblalo, he thought about them, not me. Right? From Spain, here. We never met in person. Sadly, Prudencio in 2019 passed away due to ALS. Right? His wife, Andrea, sent me an email telling me, of course, the sad news, which, as you may guess, struck really hard, right? But in that same message, I just took a screenshot, which I saved in my desktop and printed. And that is the sentence that up until today, 8 years from that dream back in my parents' house, still keeps us running every day. Through every difficulty that you may guess we have given away free software for communication disabled people. And that phrase read, "We thank you very much because the last 2 years of Prudencio's life were way better because he could go back to making homework with our child or gathering with his friends and just joke around with your app." Right? And of course, that makes me reflect quite a lot, always, that I read that sentence, in many things, right? But mostly, and the main point that I want to make right here in this stage at South Summit is, hey, maybe this is also changing the world. But I'm not saying it because of me, to say, hey, look at me, I'm Mateo, I changed the world. I'm saying it because if this is changing the world, I'm sure you'll agree that everyone sitting right here can change the world. Because we didn't do it, as I said, at Silicon Valley with millions of dollars, with huge investors, with nothing. I knew nothing about mobile apps at the time, and I'm still learning quite a lot. I'm not really good at it. But if we could do it without money, without funding, without knowledge, in Latin America, you can bet that everyone sitting on this arena can use their knowledge and the power of technology to change the world. So maybe we are talking about technology, but this is not a tech talk. It's a human, by design, talk. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We all love technology. It is great. And we have to use it for many, many great stuff. But never doubt that the best thing about technology and the moment that technology is going through, and we're all going through as humanity, the best thing there is understanding and believing that we can all use that power to change the world for the better, right? We did it in Latin America, no resources. Everyone here can do it too. Maybe you don't require all of that. Maybe it's not rockets, maybe it's not AI models. Maybe it's just dreaming an impossible dream and waking up 8 years every day to make it possible. Thank you all very much, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the event. Thank you, guys. Gracias a todos, en serio. Muchas gracias. Gracias, de verdad. Un gustazo, gracias.